Hey, I wanted to talk to you about the causes of poverty in America. You see, if you go to other countries, the poverty is pretty obvious. I mean, there's people on the streets with no food, with no shelter, and really not a lot of people to help them. In America, it's a little different. We still have malnutrition, we still have disease that you don't normally would associate with a first world country, but we have people that help. We have a lot of government institutions, we have a lot of private charities that are out helping these people. But unfortunately, poverty in America, it's a cycle. It gets passed on from one generation to the next. And so there's a lot of reasons, there's dozens of reasons for poverty in America, but we just want to give you about 5 of those reasons of the major causes of poverty. The first cause for poverty in America is a poor economy. You see, when there's a weak economy in America, that increases unemployment. What these companies do is they cut jobs in a weak economy, or they have to close their doors for good. Some companies will even ship their manufacturing overseas in order to pay foreign workers at a lower rate. And what that does is it increases unemployment. And when there's unemployment, jobs are scarce. And also, the competition for jobs are very high. And so what you have is these unemployed people that are getting unemployment, but at a much lower rate than their previous salaries. And so what this does is it causes these families to go into poverty and sometimes even homelessness. The second reason is a lack of affordable housing. You see, there's a growing gap in America between what you earn and the cost of living or the cost of housing. And it really makes it difficult for a lot of American families to make ends meet. On average, you have to earn about $15.35 an hour in order to afford a 2-bedroom apartment. And those who don't or can't find subsidized government housing could really end up in living in shelters or even worse, living on the streets. And then there's a third cause, which is drug use. Now, I've personally seen a lot of people addicted to drugs pour all their money into their habit. For example, if you spend $100 for a gram of cocaine a day, that's going to cost you $700 a week, which is more than what a lot of Americans make per week. And then if you do any kind of harder drugs like heroin, man, that can cost you $1,000 per week or more. And then there's things that are more socially acceptable and legal, like alcohol. See, alcohol is much more expensive than just buying the alcohol because you can have all these kind of things that go along with it if you get addicted to alcohol. Things like you lose your job or you miss work. Things like illnesses and accidents that happen as a result of alcohol. Things like legal fees that you have to pay for things like drunk driving. And so alcohol itself can lead people into poverty as well. So the fourth cause is a lack of education. So someone in the lower class can't really afford to attend college or earn a degree. And what happens is they end up having to have a low-paying job with little to no benefits, and then they need to support themselves or their family on a low salary. The average for someone that just has a high school diploma, the average income is about $28,000, and that is just above the poverty line for a family of 4. So you can see how someone with that lacks education could be stuck in the cycle of poverty. And the fifth cause of poverty in America can be medical expenses. You see, you could be rich or poor, and you can develop a severe illness that requires immediate medical attention. And oftentimes, this happens very unexpectedly. It requires you to stay in the hospital for long periods of time and have all kind of different treatments and things that you need. You know, the hospital stay costs around about $350 per night. A little pill like a Tylenol can cost you $14 a pill. And then if you have cancer and need chemotherapy, that could be over $30,000. And so there's minor surgeries that cost thousands of dollars. There's major surgeries that cost so much more than that. And so if you are someone in lower or middle class and can't afford medical expenses, it could lead you into poverty. And sure, there's, medical insurance that will cover most of it, but not all of it. And oftentimes there's a copay that you have to pay up front anyway that could be a lot of money. And so you can see how medical expenses can cause someone to really dip down into a state of poverty. As you can see, there are many reasons and causes for poverty in America, and we would love for you to check out some other related resources and videos and other articles that you can see down below. But I'm sure a lot of these reasons that we've listed here have raise some questions and maybe some of your own opinions and comments for this very nuanced and very complicated issue about poverty in America. We'd love for you to talk about it with your mentor or with your friends or with your family or with your small group, hey, check out the questions below and have a great conversation.